What is up, YouTube? Chase Oliver 68 here with another video for you guys. So today's video is going to be a WWE 12 update. More to come for WWE 12. You know, they're going to announce the roster soon enough. Going to give my opinions on superstars overall, so be on the lookout for those videos. But today, just read an E3 article. If you guys do not know, if you guys are not video game savvy, what E3 is. E3 is just this big video game convention. They announce all these new video games, yada yada yada. I might do an E3 video. I used to be really big into video games, but who knows when time will tell. So why not? Let's just get on the way with WWE 12 news. So WWE 12 is now coming out for the PS3, Xbox 360, and the Wii. I don't think there's going to be a PS2 title this time, so those PS2 fanboys that were really happy that WWE was still supporting their console and making out the PS2 games, I really don't think there's going to be a PS2 game this time around, especially with the graphic engine this year. I don't really think they can downgrade that graphic engine to make it work with the PS2, so I'm sorry PS2 fanboys, I could be wrong, and if I am, then so be it, I'm wrong, but not everyone's perfect. But I watched some E3 coverage on it. It looked pretty interesting from what I saw. The gameplay looked really nice, but I just wanted to go over some minor changes, you know, kind of major changes in the game. So, here we go. First off, in the game, we all know that WWE 12 is going to be a lot different. They're changing the whole gameplay of the SmackDown. They're trying to make it realistic. And I know most people were like, well, I really don't like the realism of it, but let's just go over it. So, now, WWE 12 is going to change their camera shots. And what I mean by changing their camera shots is, they're going to change the way, like, the camera works. You know, when you played as John Cena, which probably most of you had if you played the Road to WrestleMania modes. John Cena is always the main guys in there. When you do the You Can't See Me, the 5-knuckle shuffle move, you know how to always focus on John Cena and how it would follow his every movement until he dropped the thing? Well, they're not going to do that anymore. The angles now are going to be different. They're not going to just focus on certain angles. It's going to be more of like a TV match style angle. Like the camera angles are going to be more like what you would see on TV. Like, say when you walk up the entrance ramp, you know how they have that side shot of superstars, but in the video game, when you walk up the entrance ramp, you know, you see the ring goes all diagonal and stuff. Well, they're changing that, so now, basically, it's going to be a side angle, just like if the superstar's entering the ring. So, they're changing all the camera angles in this, and I really haven't seen that much of the camera angles yet. There wasn't really that much footage on it, but when the time comes where more camera angles are shown, I'll get my thoughts on that, but right now they really didn't show much. The only thing I saw was Alberto Del Rio versus The Miz, and that looked pretty clean when I saw it, but yeah. Now, the main point I want to get at is the control scheme. The control scheme has completely changed. I'm sorry for your Wii users out there. I used to own a Wii, but I don't anymore. I sold it this summer for some money. You know, money is very important nowadays. I sold it this summer for some money. But I do have Xbox and PS3 controllers, and I'll be going over the control scheme for both controllers. Hopefully you guys can see them well enough. I think you guys can, but anyways. So now let me go over this. The Y and the triangle buttons, they're still going to be called the run buttons from last year's installment. The B and circle buttons are going to be the pin buttons still. They're going to just be the pin button. But remember, you know, back in the, not the good old days, but back in the day when people used to like the action button, you know, when circle was the, you know, button to press, when circle was the grapple button, people liked that button more. And they kind of had a gripe about how these control sticks right here, how these control sticks were the buttons for the grappling. Like, people didn't really like that. They thought it was stupid. They didn't like how they're wasting the control stick for something that dumb. Well, guess what, people that love the action buttons? The A and X buttons right here are now going to be your new, and what I mean by new, your new, your new grapple buttons. Sorry, I just was stalling here. I'm trying to force so much information in my head at once. It's kind of hard, but these will be your new grapple buttons. So you will be able to grapple with these now, and you'll be able to still use the right stick as, you know, kind of like the way to change your grapples up. So it's more going to be like a less of the older style games like Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw, the original SmackDown vs. Raw, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, you know, yada yada yada. You guys get the point. And then X and square, well, they're still going to be the strike buttons, so that hasn't changed. Now, what also has changed is now L1 and LB, these two buttons right here, they're going to be the action buttons. Like, I believe they're going to be the Irish whip buttons, the setting up the turnbuckle buttons. The LB and L1 are going to be these buttons. Now, I read something about R2 and L2 being something like the grab button, you know, to set up the ultimate controls, but they weren't really clear on that from the article I was reading on IGN. So, yeah, that's about it. Now, the thing is, another thing I'm going to talk about is, remember how in 2006, I believe, they added that stamina feature, and people really thought it was cool that there was a stamina feature because now people had to really watch it. But then after the stamina feature came out, people were like, well, this is gay, I'm trying to wrestle a match, and my guy keeps falling over, and people just turn off the stamina feature. No one liked the stamina feature, face it. You cannot say you like the stamina feature. There's some people of the minority that are like, oh yeah, the stamina feature was great, it made matches feel more realistic, but at the same time it was annoying as hell. You would be wrestling a match, and then all of a sudden it'd be like press select to, it would be like press select to, you know, gain back your stamina, or press back, and then you would be like, fuck off, and then you would be doing a match, and then all of a sudden your guy just falls out of nowhere, like a la Scott Steiner, and it's just like, what the fuck? This is so stupid. Like, you would get so pissed off at that. Well, they're kind of bringing that back, but the thing is, don't you guys get annoyed, you know, you're playing online, you're looking for a competitive match, and then someone keeps on doing running grapples or running strikes? Don't you get annoyed by that? Well, guess what? Running strikes and running grapples now are going to be based off the adrenaline feature. Based on your adrenaline and how much adrenaline you have, that's how many running strikes and running grapples you can. You can't just spam running strikes and running grapples. And believe me, we all know we couldn't beat The Undertaker at Road to WrestleMania without using running strikes and running grapples. If someone has a video of, you know, just basically not spamming the running strikes and running grapples, defeating The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26, by all means post it in the video response. But nonetheless, they were the thing that helped me defeat The Undertaker. But yeah, they changed that all up. So you can't really run it anymore. You can't really spam the run and the running strikes and the running grapples anymore. That's all gone. We can't do that anymore. That's a good thing. I like that because I can admit, when I'm playing the computer sometimes and I'm just playing a match that I don't want to do, like in the Road to WrestleMania, I spam that shit out of that because it works. But now that that's gone, I think it's going to add more of a fresher gameplay because now people will be focusing on using the grapples, kind of like in the old days with Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth, when people would focus on that and not really, you know, do the whole running shit. Like, I was just never a big fan of the running strikes, but I would use them anyways. I prefer, you know, striking and grappling. It's fun. I like doing the reversals. But yeah, that's basically the point of it. So yeah, that's basically this WWE 12 update. Tell me if you guys like this video. Like this video if you did. Comment down below. Subscribe up above. Thank you all for watching up close to the camera, which means peace.